Welcome back to Burn & Barrel, and today we're going to be continuing the kind of those bottles that I got on my recent Kentucky trips. So this is, I just did the Green River Honey right before this one. I just wanted to record a couple of these kind of back to back just because I wanted to go and get them out, go and get the ball rolling on them just so I'm not having to wait. I've got a lot of things planned upcoming just personally, so I need to kind of jump on the old schedule before things get really crazy. But anyway, today we've got an interesting bottle. It's by a distillery that I really honestly haven't heard of much or have tasted anything of theirs. The only reason I got it was because actually my dad bought a bottle of theirs a few weeks ago, like a few weeks before I got this one. He said it was really good. I think it was called the Heresy, because it's Broken Barrel. That's who it is. It was the Broken Barrel's Heresy rye, I believe, and I tried it and it was really good. And so then I was at a Total Wine on the way over and I found this one specifically. I think it was like 50 something bucks, maybe not mid 50s, something like that. And it looked really interesting, so I was very intrigued by it. So I went ahead and bought it, and I was like, $53. I want to try more of their stuff. It's not on the super expensive end. It's kind of in that middle ground between cheap and really expensive. So I was like, I'll take a gamble on it. So got this bottle, and I'm excited to try it. So as I said before, this is Broken Barrel, but specifically this is their Reserve Oak series. So this is the one where it is a rum cask stave finish, and it is 115 proof. So what's interesting about this and what really kind of drew my attention is, as you know, I've talked about it very recently in a lot of the past 4 or 5 videos, is that I've been trying to go after a lot of very interesting pours, something that's like not typical, something that's super unique, that kind of thing. So when I saw this bottle and I picked it up, it didn't immediately strike me as anything. And then I read what it was, rum cask staves. Okay, you've piqued my interest. But then I look at the side and I'm like, oh, this is a little bit even more interesting. So this was bottled in 2022. So I don't know how old this is. Let's see if it says. I don't know if it says anywhere. I don't think so. But it does say it was bottled in 2022. So this has been bottled for a few years now. But what's interesting about this is that it has not only a typical mash bill like you would see on a normal whiskey, it also what's called an oak bill. So here's what I'm talking about right there. As you can see, there's 2 different labels. So the first one is the mash bill, which is 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% malted barley, which is a pretty good mash bill. I like a little bit of a rye in there, and that malted barley will kind of mellow and give a little extra notes too. But also it's got an oak bill, which means they use 25% of their staves that they put in these barrels are X-Rye staves. So these are the X-Rye cask staves. So it gives it a little bit more of that rye bite to it without actually adding any in the mash bill. And then the other 75% of the cask staves are rum cask. So that's where we're going to get some of that rum influence. So most of it is your rum, but you're still going to get a little bit of that rye. So this is the Broken Barrel kind of rum and rye, honestly. And I really kind of like it. It kind of flows very well. But yeah, Broken Barrel, a lot of their finishes are using broken barrel staves, and they just put them in the barrels versus using X barrels and just pouring the whiskey in that. They use the staves and put them in there. Similar process, it just does it slightly differently, and it can change the expression a little bit versus doing it the typical way of using like a normal barrel. But yeah, so I will say, as a side note, so this cork is like a normal cork, as you can see. It's not like a synthetic cork or nothing, which smells really good. And so, but the only thing I was about to say with that is that I don't know if the camera's gonna pick this up, but there are some of that cork in there, just like tiny shavings of it. So hopefully that won't affect it too much, but I think maybe it came off just a little bit. It didn't like come off completely, so shouldn't be too big of a deal. Shouldn't change the flavors or anything, but who knows? I'm hoping it doesn't make it super oaky or super corky or whatever. But that's enough talking, I think. Let's just go and get right into this glass and check out this color. So very similar to the Green River honey that I just had. It's kind of a light honey-ish color. Nothing too dark, honestly, which is fine. Like, I don't mind it being lighter because, you know, I like some of them that are a little bit lighter, but that doesn't mean a lot, really. It just could be the climate it was aged in, where it came from, the grains, you know, how proofed it is, you know, what finishes it's got on it, all that kind of stuff. But this one's, again, like a lighter amber, kind of honey-ish color. Not super dark, but again, I don't know the age on this. I just think it says bottled, but it's at least 2 years because it's a Kentucky straight bourbon, but I don't know if we're approaching 3-4 years. I would assume it's not super old, but I don't know. You could probably look it up and find it, and I might, and when I do in the description, put that in there, but otherwise you can probably Google it and maybe find it yourself. But at least on the bottle, I don't think anyways there is any age statement, so we'll just go with that. But anyways, let's just go and get right into this nose. So this nose has a lot of that rum influence on there. And if you watched my video on that Jefferson's rum cask, it has a similar vibe of like very tropical. A little bit of almost like a little bit of like a lemony lime, like a Sprite type note, but also very mango-y, like very tropical fruit type smell here, which is super nice. Definitely a little bit of sweet. It's got a little bit of that mintiness to it. Yeah, I'm very much digging this. Very nice. It's got a little bit of a darkness to it, like a little bit, and the nose is a little bit more potent than I think the Green River honey was, just because this is like 23 more proof. So it does have a little more of the ethanol to kind of push these flavors forward. But again, I don't know the ages, so I'm not sure. But anyways, the nose does smell great. You get a little bit of that rye influence, and from both the oak and the mash bill, get a little bit of that mintiness, that little like bite and spice to it. But I'm getting a lot of like a little bit of a tropical, like I said, mango-y, like a lemon lime-ish type, like a citrusy type thing. Maybe a little bit of a dark sweetness behind it, but really it's a lot of that like caramel goodness in there with a little bit of that mint and tropical stuff. So I'm getting a lot of those different influences from those casks. So I'm very excited to see how that transfers to the palate. Not always a one-to-one, but that's yet to be seen. So let's just go ahead and try it. Wow, okay. So I will say, on the palate, I'm getting a lot more of that rye cask and that rye mash bill than I am the rum. Because immediately as I'm hit with like a rye spice, like a baking spice type thing. Yeah, the proof really hits you up front. In my mouth, my palate's like adjusting to the elevated proof a little bit, so I'll get one more sip and kind of get my notes. So again, I'm hit with the rye right up front, that mintiness, a little bit of that spice, but then it comes in with a little bit of like almost like a vegetal note, a little vegetal, but in a good way, like a fruity vegetal, like very garden type note. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very, it's half fruit, half like veggie. It almost tastes a little like, I can't really describe it. It's like very natural. I don't know any other way to describe that, but very green and things like that. Yeah, rye spice up front, a little vegetal, a little fruity. You get a little bit of that rum cask influence towards the middle to the end, and then the finish kind of brings in more of that tropicalness. That oak comes in really nicely. I think from the extra staves in this barrel, you get a lot of that oak influence as well. Yeah, definitely rye, baking spice, vegetal, fruitiness. And then towards the end and the finish, that oak comes in. It's that vegetal kind of drops off. It's more of just like a little tropical. It's not super sweet as much as I would think on the palate. The nose was definitely sweeter than the palate was. Not bad, but it definitely could be a little bit sweeter. But I do like it. It's got a slight bit of an astringency and a bitterness on the back, like at the top of my mouth, like the roof, but near the end. But other than that, it's not really astringent other than that back portion. The front and middle of it is really, really nice. I'm very much enjoying it. Yeah, super good. I think for me, this is definitely going to be like a nice, I would say, I'm going to go a 6 out of 10 on this one. I do like it, and I think it's an above average pour. I think what gets me a little bit is the lack of sweetness versus the nose. Like I was expecting more sweetness on the palate than I got, and just because of the nosing, but it's not that it's bad. It's just like my expectations were kind of shot a little bit. But the astringency is a little bit of a knock to it. It's a slight bit astringent, a little over oaked, I would say, on the end. But the rest of it on the palate is actually really nice. That the flavors are quite unique with a little bit of that vegetal, like fruity type note going on. The oak is nice and to a point. Then you get a little bit more of that minty baking spice medley type thing. But the nose was really, really good. I would say the nose was better than the palate for me on this. It smelled really good. The palate was good too, just the nose really was the star of those. So, again, this is going to be a 6 out of 10 for me. I think if you have been wanting to try something unique, I think this is a great pour. Would I get another bottle? I don't know. I think $55-$60 for this is a little much. I would probably, for something like something like this, I would probably rather have it in the $45-$50 range. So like maybe $5-$10 cheaper, and then I would say it would be another bottle I'd buy. But I just don't know if I would get another of this specific one. But I'm very interested in Broken Barrel as a distillery from this bottle. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. As always, please check out the description down below to check out a summarized version of this review. And also, don't forget to check out these videos on screen right now to check out some of the other reviews I've done that I think you will enjoy. So yeah, I think that's it for me today, guys. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time here on Burn and Barrel.